In this video, I'm going to show you a super cheap but ridiculously cool and simple way to make clamp brackets for your motorcycle using some steel and a few nuts and bolts. First things first, measure the tube or forks that you're going to be making these for. In our case, it's about 51, 52 millimeters. And stick around to the end because I'm going to give you a sneak peek on what I did on my shop press a couple of days ago. It's really cool and it's actually going to be going on Crystal CB400. If you have a local exhaust or muffler or even a mechanic shop, you can ask them if you can go dumpster diving in their metal scrap bin. Sometimes you can find exactly what you want, which is what I did. And this one measures about 53. It's better to be bigger than smaller if you can. I'd probably use a drop saw or a bandsaw to cut something like this, but if you don't have either of those, I'll show you another way to do it. If you have a grinder with a 1mm blade, it's going to be the best. You can probably also do it with a hacksaw. It's just going to be a lot slower. So the trick here is cutting it nice and straight. All you need is a piece of paper. All you have to do is put the paper on until it lines up. So once those two pieces are perfectly lined up, you know that's a straight line all the way around. You think you can cut a straight line until you try and cut a straight line and then you realize it's all out of whack. So this is a simple, easy way to do it, and you just tape it there, mark it, and then boom, off you go. You can also do this with tape. I've done it with tape, but it's not as easy because tape keeps wanting to stick to itself. Paper is a lot easier. If you have some tape the exact width that you want to cut your band, you can put it on that line you've just drawn, just like that, all the way around, and then you'll have your second line, which is your tape line right there to cut both. We're going to be making ours about 3/4 of the width of this tape, so it's not going to work for us. I'll leave links to everything in the description below, like these deburring tools. They're really handy. If you don't have one, you can always use a rat's tail file if you have one of those. Just work your way around. Just be mindful that most pipes will have a seam on the inside, and you want to make sure you get that nice and smooth. You could use a Dremel or a rat's tail file or even a die grinder or even some sandpaper. It'll just take a bit longer. I've got two different size bands here, two thick ones and two thinner ones, as you can see the difference. So that means I'm going to be running two different size nuts and bolts for this. Those are the big ones. You could use these pipe clamps for mounting basically anything on your motorcycle, from your headlight bracket to your turn signals to a gauge or even your brake reservoir, possibly even a horn. Whatever you have that's a tube on the bike, which is a lot of stuff, or if it's painted and you don't want to weld any tabs to it, this is a perfect opportunity to make something really cool that looks real clean. Make sure you remove the thread or bolt you're using to separate the nuts before you fully weld the nuts on. Just tack them on, remove that thread, and then fully weld them. Otherwise, it'll make it super hard to get that damn thing out. Trust me, I've learnt this lesson in the past. What actually happens is it heats the nuts up so much that it shrinks, but the thread doesn't shrink, and therefore it just makes it super hard to get those damn things out until you heat up that thread. I'm just using my belt grinder to tidy these up, but you can use an angle grinder with a flapper disc, or even a file will do the same thing. Just take a bit longer. Once the two nuts are fully welded on, you can go ahead and slice that ring. Now just drill out the thread on one of the nuts, and that's the side you'll push the bolt through. Sometimes when you're welding nuts, you'll find some spatter gets on the thread, so the bolt won't go in, so it's just a matter of tapping it out with the right size thread. Just use some inner tube from a bicycle. You can get this stuff from pretty much any bicycle shop. They throw these things out all the time. And it'll just protect your tube from being scratched. A quick tip here, if you found that the clamp isn't actually clamping enough because the bolt's done up and it's fully closed that gap, all you need to do is open that gap a little bit more by just filing it or cut it down. Like take it off the bike and just run a blade down it is what I would do. Let me show you an easy way to make some headlight brackets pretty much any shape that you desire. Just mark your 3 points, center punch them so you know where the center of the holes are. You can easily just drill these with a drill bit, but in my case, I'm going to use a punch. And if you love motorcycle fabrication videos, make sure you check out this playlist. See you in the next one.